We head into Inferno maybe a little bit sooner than we anticipated after a phenomenal performance on sAw on Nuke. But now it is the choice of forZe. And Potter, I'm hoping from the neutral's perspective that forZe have woken up, because I agree with the desk. If they haven't, this could be over real quick.
It could be, right? I do have to say, though, sAw, remember just yesterday versus Namiga, this was the map that they looked a little harmless on. I gotta say, roaming towards the apartments, he wasn't able to be that anchor that you absolutely need on the CT defenses of Inferno. And for the forZe side, this is their whole map. This is absolutely the map that they lean on when things get rough or tough for them. And they were able to beat out VP as well on it. So I don't know. It's still up in the air for me right now, Vince. I'm expecting a better looking forZe, but sAw, they have gone over and hashed out a lot of details because their game plan is looking strong.
Well, the interesting aspect of this as well, and I completely agree with your assessment, I think that sAw did look a little bit off kilter, shall we say, against Namiga, who were very aggressive and maybe a bit unpredictable at times. But the last time these two teams met each other, back at the end of November, so not even that long ago, sAw did actually win Inferno. It was 16-13. It was a very close game, but they actually got it done. So I'm curious if there's maybe a couple of reads, a couple of tells that they have on forZe that give them that small advantage and that slight push towards victory, or if forZe have gone back to the drawing board and they've learned from their mistakes. What we do know, though, is that forZe will be kicking things off on the T side. And that obviously puts sAw into a bit of aggression early on. Roman is taking the early trades potentially, but it's actually just that has them on the cross, and it's a massacre. The CTs come out ahead. 4 players drop in a heartbeat, and it's looking like sAw, they'll be just going through the gears again.
They've just been annihilated, wiped out of the server. forZe were just going so fast, stampeding around, chasing down Roman, but even he survives. Almazer's just completely left scratching his head, wondering what went wrong. At this point, all of the sAw members are doing their due diligence. They're sticking together. I don't think they're going to give Almazer a fair fight. They definitely shouldn't.
A player that could punish them. We know he's got solid aim. Last time these teams faced each other, though, he actually bottom fragged for forZe. Perhaps a map that he has a bit of inconsistency issues with. 40 seconds to play, and he has successfully managed to re-engage through a different angle, but still needs to pick up the bomb. And in doing so, he would put himself into harm's way with 3 players breathing down his neck. I'm not saying this is impossible, but it is highly unlikely that he even gets a kill, let alone can get his hands on that bomb. 22 seconds, down he goes to Just. And the Portuguese plus Arky are successful. And that looked way too easy, Potter.
Yeah, that was just dominant. Message received, forZe. Message received. Just has a laser beam towards this arch side. He's good for, what was that, 3 kills? A banging start for these guys. A bunch of MP9s coming through. And forZe have fully bought into this round. Deagles, that's a lot of smokes. And a slow start either way. I think forZe have to just focus on drawing out the utility here. They do have a couple of flashbangs to set up some sort of an execute in the mid round, but sAw are just doing so well, so disciplined. We saw it on Nuke, and we're starting to see the glimpses of it here on Inferno. They're not going to play forZe's game.
Absolutely. And I feel like that was one of their main weaknesses yesterday against Namiga, that it felt like that unpredictability and that kind of chaotic style often got them caught off guard. But let's also be honest, we went through into that third map saying sAw should have had this 2-0. Like, they had many opportunities to put Inferno to bed, and they just let them slip. So you feel like they could have maybe gone back and figured out where it went wrong for them. They could have maybe put a couple of small tweaks into play, and with 35 seconds, they have to withstand what effectively comes down to a Tech 9 and 4 Deagles.
Yeah, that's some quick turnaround, though. Just in a few hours, they've been able to polish things up, and it's got to be clean this round as well. A full-on BXQ coming through. MP9s just shooting away at the smoke. Everyone's blind. But a good spray down from Just. They are going to get the bomb down, though. Muterus maybe waiting for a flash. Roman does have one, but he just pushes through. A good cleanup, and extra power should go down as well. For a moment, there was a chance, but again, sAw are playing so well. They're not just out aiming and headshotting. They're playing with each other quite well right now. And forZe just aren't able to find a good target selection for themselves. sAw are doing fantastic. It's looking clean. And oh man, forZe are going to force into this round as well. I'm not a fan of this, Vince. Things can get out of control real quick. forZe do like to spice things up. So we'll see what their plan is, but it's not a strong purchase.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of firepower, it's not too shabby, but then you look at the fact that already 2 players have 0 utility. You've got a Deagle and Almazer. And it's not as if they've put the economy for sAw into an awkward spot. Like, 3 of them can easily rebuy again in the next round. It wouldn't be a full reset by any stretch. So that risk versus reward, it does feel like it's maybe a little bit tipping in sAw's favor here. And if forZe go all in and they get battered again, they're on the back foot. It's a 3-0 lead, and they won't really have much of a buy. Arky's gone in for the first frag. It forces forZe back onto the banana side, where it would effectively be against Just. But now sAdodo thinks better of that rotation, and he joins his teammate.
They do have enough utility for this B set piece to come through. sAdodo gets spotted, but just that boost finds the pick off on Jerry, and this is going to be a tough task for forZe. Just even pushes through that smoke as well. I don't even know if they're going to be able to get the bomb down here, Vince.
Oh, so nearly pick him off through the smoke. He just gets the bomb down before being denied his life. And so at least it is another post plant. forZe will have their economy tick forward, which does somewhat mitigate some of the issues that we just discussed about it being like a very hard risk. But it won't put them into a spot where they can get a really solid buy. They're looking at a similar sort of situation with a few players down to maybe a smoke or a flashbang, and that's basically it. And I think they only took down, what, 1 player from sAw? So their economy's building up nicely too.
Yeah, and I hope they don't fall into this rinse repeat again and just force because they got the bomb down. I'd like to see a conservative buy coming into this round, but they do fully force. And as you mentioned, Vince, only 1 member of sAw going down. forZe have not been able to showcase any round that's been close or a winnable strategy that's sustainable. So they're just, I guess, leaving it to chance, wanting to get a good shot off, a good pick off. And they're putting a lot of risk into this round, which I get it, especially if you're a team where you feel like you're the better team or whatever confidence is beaming through you. But these executes haven't looked good because they haven't had the utility to back them up. Right now, they're just down to the 2 smokes and a flashbang, and this smoke coming through from sAdodo will delay everything. So forZe's plans have been stopped in its tracks, and they're going to have to fall off.
Fall off with the bulk of their aggression, leaving Jerry alone at top of banana. Incendiary tossed in, perfect timing. Just keeps forZe on the back foot, allows those 2 players on the CTs to now make moves through on apps. Damage done with the HE, but a shrapnel tossed in to good effect. 45 seconds coming up on the timer. And sAw trading away a 4th player towards the A side of the map. It will be Just who's playing Speedway. So they can have a rapid rotation in, but they decide to send Muterus out of position from Library. This timing could hurt sAw significantly if he gets smoked off, but actually it seems like the angle is going to go unchecked, and now he can spray down. That's the bomb that drops with him. They look for the wraparound. They're hoping that Jerry can be the pincer movement for them, but they need to get in close, and with 15 seconds, Muterus gets another kill. Do they even have time to run straight across to the spike? One of these angles goes unchecked. That's Just who goes in for 1, and even though he doesn't double up, this is going to be incredibly close. I think they just have it just in the nick of time, but Arky can maybe deny the bomb plant. He gets there a second late. Somehow it's a 2-on-2.
Extra power is so low. Jerry's going to want to try to bait him and get a pick. They know where 1 member is at least. Both CTs are 1v1s. They're separated, and that's the start of it. Good pick off from Extra power. Now Roman's job has just become a lot more difficult. He's got the kit, picks up a flash, and he's gonna stick it. Oh, so close. I actually like the call on the stick. I thought that was definitely the play, but Jerry reads it. This round was all over the place. I actually cannot believe forZe was able to get the bomb down. I thought did just enough there to delay, but man, this just comes down to the smallest of margins. forZe are able to finally get a round on the board though. But look at the money across the board, man. sAw, they've used every penny they had pretty much coming into this round.
They did indeed. forZe, not too much better off, though. It's only flit over $1,000. Everybody else under that mark. So economy on both sides of the coin is still very rough. Ooh, the Dodo. Those are the shots you expect him to land. He peeks back in, and he is punished. They cannot afford for him to have a quiet game. We saw his prowess on Dust 2 yesterday. And now just the Muterus being flashed off. forZe still yet to push onto the side. Double spray through the smoke from Muterus. Icy resolve. And instantly forZe have been denied.
What a turnaround. Muterus just leaving his mark in that banana area. And Roman, he's even pushing for more. forZe are about to get choked out. Pretty soon, Arky's going to be able to rotate as well and reinforce this B defense. forZe have a decent amount of utility. It's going to come down to this initial trade. If Muterus oversteps his bounds here, that could be forZe's window. But again, sAw are just so good at being disciplined. Only 20 seconds remaining now, Vince.
Desperate for an entry, but they've baited them out into Just with the MP9. It's a flawless, perfect hold. Well played, Muterus. In particular, those 4 kills are exquisite.
Muterus, what a hero, man. What a hero. And he could have had it even more in this clip, but he uses his teammates. He uses that crossfire exactly how it's designed to. And sAw, once again, those fundamentals coming in strong. forZe down to just the pistols, and sAw absolutely needed that to bolster up their economy.
I think one of the reasons why maybe forZe did go for these consistent buys is the last time the teams played one another, the Dodo breaks the deadlock onto Flit. Wasn't really a big investment, it's just the Eagles. But actually, it was the T side on forZe that did so much work. They ended up with, I believe, 9 rounds, and they lost the pistol. So when it came to rifles, they were head and shoulders above sAw. And I wonder if that's going into the decision-making of them feeling like, okay, when we get rifles and full utility, we are just the better team. We expect to win. The problem is that clearly sAw, they stepped it up a few notches since then. So forZe are putting themselves into awkward spots. In terms of this round, the Dodo single-handedly seemingly has shut it down. And it's looking good that the Portuguese will pick up a 5th.
And it's really good for sAdodo to get these shots off, start warming up the flick, and as I say that, he just gets 1D'd. Exapower says, thank you, gonna pick that up through the smoke. That's a lot of sound cues for Just. The rotations are coming through, but... oh, only 30 seconds left on the clock. I like this. Exapower is gonna bring that smoke back over to A, try to at least keep those 2 defenders there, rendezvous back over with the forZe guys, and this hit will come. Oh, but Face Crack just walks around the corner. Exapower's posted up, but look at Arky. He's not going to give him that angle.
Actually love that from Arky. It seems like such a fairly obvious play, but the amount of players that will go for those peaks. Nice hold by Exapower. He'll hold on to the opening, also hurt the economy a little bit. But the fact that Arky just keeps tapping through the coffins rather than wide swinging is really intelligent, because he knows he's got a player on the new box that's going to shut that down. What's the point in even giving them a slight slimmer and glimmer of a hope? Just completely close it down. Make sure of the round before you go hunting.
Yeah, and that's exactly just playing to the crossfires, playing to the strengths of that teamwork. But that was a bit of a blunder there at the end of the round, just chasing down Exit Power. I get it. You don't want him to save that AWP, but we talked about the money on sAw being low. I'm pretty sure those two players will be down to $0. I'm not even sure if they'll be able to purchase as strong of a rifle as they would have wanted. They certainly won't have head armor. Okay, so the strong rifles do come through. Okay, it wasn't quite as detrimental as I thought in my head, but it would have been nice for those two players to survive.
They have no AWP though, Christine, and that is pretty significant because we know that sAw likes to pick it up whenever he can. Has played aggressive in this round down banana. They smoke it deep. sAw and just here, and sAw, well, apparently he doesn't need the AWP to have impact. Drills Jerry in the head through the smoke, as calm as you like, and then just pulls back to rotate onto A. Everything has gone the way that sAw were hoping for. Time is dwindling away, but forZe do have forward positions in apps. Arky is watching the boiler. Flashbang will be good. Forces him away, but Roman on the cart is going to be an issue. XE Power, though, does make his AWP work. Flip mollied off. Roman holds his resolve, puts down another player, and forZe, it feels like one step forward and then multiple backwards. And to make matters that little bit worse, Just is already pushed down banana. He's wrapping behind the T's, and he's keeping them isolated from one another.
Such a strong defense coming out from sAw. forZe right now, they're just going through their options. Not sure exactly what to do. Exit Power is going to go for round 2 here. He was able to find a pick from this exact position, but this is certainly going to be a save unless Flit can make some magic happen, but he's just throwing whatever might stick to the wall here. Definitely not going to work. Whoa, Exit Power, no way. No way. Okay, Roman's got the angle.
Yeah, for a second, I was beginning to believe that he could sneak his way onto the site and get that plant down. Instead, though, 6-1. And Flit just has to hold on to his AK. Tactical timeout has now been deployed on the side of forZe.
forZe's money has been in shambles pretty much all first half long. They have to make another tough choice here. Flit, he has that AK. You can see the money. It's not quite enough to have a confident buy, but it's just enough to kind of tease you and make you want to force into it. It's going to be a conservative one here with some Tech 9s and some utility to back them up, but sAw are just playing their defenses so well. We keep highlighting the crossfires, but it's just exactly that. forZe are not finding any looks that they feel comfortable with, but it's because sAw aren't giving it to them. Just sticking to their strengths, and it's really good Counter-Strike to watch here, Vince.
Yeah, it's that methodical style that we expected to see on sAw, but what's been surprising to me is that forZe haven't been able to take them out of their comfort zone. You expected them to kind of pull out the sledgehammer and smash through one of these walls, but so far sAw have been so good. And another wallbang headshot through the smoke, and it's Roman. Grenade behind it could do a bit of damage if anyone pushes in. They decide not to. But I feel like sAw have been getting all of the opening picks on this half. Every single round, it feels like they come out, they get a frag, they pull back, and then forZe have all the tension on them. Smoke is good. I think that may have just bounced off face crack, which has alerted Roman to his presence. Hence the pre-fire. And that has scared forZe off.
Roman is also stamping his name towards this apartment area. Good pop flash, good communication. You saw that secondary flash even coming through for Roman. Starting to see a lot of the inner workings of this sAw roster. Roman is pushing for more. He's able to get the bomb down. Risky business here. It does pay off for Roman. Even going for more. He's feeling good right now, Vince. He's just taking all the duels. Just down to face crack. And of course, it's Roman. 8-1. Was that 4 kills for himself in apartments?
I think so, yeah. He got the first and he came full circle. He's only died one time as well, Potter.
Oof.
Oh, that's really brutal, actually. Oh, dear. See him just clean up the round. Indeed, it was a 4K. You were spot on. And what's terrifying to me as well, Potter, is kind of one of the keys to success that they were talking about on the desk, and I definitely agree, is typically forZe probably have the superior individual players. Well, that definitely has not been the case on Nuke and Inferno. It feels like every single duel, every single trade has been going in favor of sAw.
Yeah, and I think that's the beautiful thing about how sAw are approaching this series right now is the fact that forZe aren't really able to showcase their individual skill because sAw are always 2v1ing them. There's not a quote-unquote fair duel that sAw are giving to forZe. They're playing to their strengths. And again, forZe are kind of bullied off this banana area. That smoke telegraphs a sort of a top banana retake coming through for the CTs, and Jerry wants nothing to do with it. He's going to fall back. A lot of nades, a lot of utility coming through. This is going to be an A-Rap play, and Almazer takes so much damage early on.
Oh my god.
Oh my.
That's just Arky spraying through the smoke with a nade alongside it, and it's basically killed 3 players. There's still 3, but they are the walking wounded. They're lumbering and limping their way onto the side. It's going to be a post plant, but at this point, sAw don't care. Because they're eyeing up an 8-1 lead, flicked to an off angle. It should be good for 1 kill, but now his position is known. They know exactly what's coming up, so he does go in for the repeat, tries to catch them in transition, tries to catch them off guard. The bomb's not even planted for Flit either. So even though he's putting some frags down, and it's going to be costly, it won't be the round. And we've reached that point in the half now where they've got to start converting some of these chances. Because the other aspect of it is, and I did touch on this before, Potter, last time they played each other, sAw got 10 rounds on their T half. So their better half potentially is yet to come.
Scary stuff looking forward here for forZe if they don't wake up soon. And that's an interesting, dooming kind of fact as well. These forZe guys, we talked about a potential honeymoon period with these 2 players coming back, but right now they're looking deflated. I do wonder when we're going to see an aggressive fast play coming out from forZe. When I think of face cracking, when I think of Jerry, I think of aggression, especially Flit. So all of these rounds have been pretty straightforward, a bit default-esque, trying to gain that control. I am expecting an aggressive rush soon.
It's so top heavy as well. XE power dropped nearly 30 last time around. He's now on 8. The rest of his team combined only have 9 frags. This is pretty abysmal if you are on forZe. And as much as I would be definitely on that ride with you, Potter, to see forZe go aggressive, I just think the counter utility from sAw has been so good. It's been on point, the right timing, right place. They've had a great read of the situation. And forZe must be feeling like they're just being slowly choked out. Like it's a death by 1,000 paper cuts that they're going through right now. It's a really painful existence. This is probably the best trade they've had early on in a round.
He's burning.
And FaZe Crack nearly dies to the Molotov. 7 HP left.
Blow for blow, Vince. Some damage traded. forZe will be okay with that, though. They were able to bully sAw off those pillars. And sAw have had a good grasp on that map control. But man, they've already over-rotated 3 defenders on top of this B. The execute is coming in. The Dodo flashes. Oh, so many flashes!
It's like fireworks going off, but just raw flashbangs in the eyes of the CTs, but they still hold on for a 2-on-2, nearly take down the bomb planter. That forces Split away. He actually jumped out of position. He came off the bomb as the Dodo finishes what he started. Now they have to retreat one of those 2 players back onto the bomb again. They hold it in. Easily resolved, but the Dodo's not budging an inch. And it puts it down to FaZe Crack. He was burnt to a crisp. His toes are still singed. And now he has to try and douse the flames, but it's Roman who turns it up a notch. 9-1 will be the score.
Wow. That was the closest round, at least, coming through for forZe. I'm sure Jerry is talking to his troops right now, quickly coming up with another game plan. sAw have been reacting and responding so well, no matter what the situation is. You talked about their utility, it's been phenomenal. And they're just putting the work into forZe right now. There were so many flashes that went off in that B bomb site, Vince.
It was crazy, wasn't it? Just bang, 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 bang. And even with all those flashes put together, they still lost the round. Like they couldn't even convert that chance. It's been brutal to watch. Uterus gets one, but there's the crossfire again. Headshot does connect onto XE power, but he still holds on for the frag. Again, a chance. forZe have not been in many 3-on-3s with a lot of time left. And Jerry is so passive, by the way. He's way back towards spawn. He was watching for that banana push. So they can still rummage their way up through banana and potentially get some success.
Jerry being trailing so far back does tell me they want to end B here. sAw pushing forward through this smoke. This should surely catch him off guard, but that flashbang, the timing is perfect. Almazer able to single-handedly just take over this arch side all by himself. Both defenders are completely split apart, and the bomb will end A here. Roman, he's got a lot on his plate. He's been good for it.
They spotted him. They have Molotovs. They can force him out of position. And he comes out second best in that trade. With the economy being in such shape and being 9-1 in the lead, I wouldn't hold it against Just if he saves this. Because he could drop it to Arky and they can actually get another buy. You have such a vast lead. Eventually, you're always going to concede again. It's no big deal. And it did come off the back of a very well-timed flashbang, because I actually thought sAw would have had that pick on Arches and that could have completely changed the dynamic of that round. It could have easily been 10 already to sAw. But at least forZe, they're scrapping. They're getting close. These last couple of rounds have been a little bit more tentative. So sAw not going to stampede away with this just yet.
Finally able to string some rounds here as forZe. Yeah, I do feel like sAw, man, he got robbed. Even that shot, because he was kind of running away because he's blind, misses. If he stands his ground, he probably hits that shot blind. So many moving parts to that play there. But either way, I still like the fact that he stepped forward and he made a risky play, but could have been huge. Man, sAw are broke, though. forZe have been just chipping away at the economy this whole time. And even though sAw are up 9-2, they're coming into this round with just pistols. Oh, and face crack finds an easy kill onto Muterus. Whoa! USP! Arky, he's gone mad!
My God, Arky is unleashed. I'm completely on board with that aggression. You know you've got to make a play with effectively USPs, and my God, did he put this into an awkward position for sAw. Just tapping from range, takes the head off of Jerry, and now it's down to Flit. He knows where one of these two players are. It would stand to reason it's likely going to be an A stack, because there's been so many bodies already against him. He had the right idea, just the wrong box. And now smoking for the cross. He has no idea as to sAw's position. Now he knows it. sAw just has to survive up and over flashbang, but it won't keep himself in this round. But it's bought up enough time for Just to wrap around the side. And it's a delicious outcome for sAw. That is a brutal body blow for forZe, though, Potter. That had to be them putting together some rounds.
What a big play coming in from the wisdomous older player in Arky. Just finding the kill, lurking around in that top mid smoke and pushing for more. Even this repositioning from Just there, just quickly making his way into apartment, outplaying forZe on every facet in this round. Man, That's going to be a nice cushion for bets for sAw. We talked about their economy being low. Flit does find the opening into this round.
Forces over the rotations, all of them, in actual fact. sAw deciding to over-rotate, perhaps, and Roman, who's had a lot of success in apps, wasn't far off from getting another one, spins around towards middle, pivots in for a headshot onto Flit. And although some damage is being inflicted, the flashbang affords him the luxury of going aggressive. Now just simultaneously pushes through arches. The chaos is swelling, and it's way too much for forZe. They dip out. They have the right idea to hit B straight away, and Jerry seems pretty confident about this. They've seen all three players over on the A side, but Jerry's effectively alone with the Tech 9. He needs to wait in for the cavalry. And XE Power is miles away. He's still watching middle. This puts Jerry into a 1-on-2. He could have timing. This is where the Tech 9, the run and gun approach could work good, and he takes both heads clean off the shoulder. He carves them in two. And a smoke on CT now allows XE Power to get in, but the IGL, he is making sure that his troops are rallied.
Jerry, what a feels-good round for him. Outmaneuvering the opponent, finally something coming through for forZe. What an unlikely round to win as well for Jerry. Because you said it, Vince, XE Power was down at T ramp while all of this was going on. And once again, sAw. Scrappy buy. We saw exactly how dangerous these sorts of buys are as sdodo starts it off strong. A nice peek down mid. FaceCrack is pretty forward here, though.
Now, we've seen them start to take a lot more aggressive apps control over the last few rounds, but not actually peek down the halls because that's been Roman's territory. But just dip into bedroom and get into boiler early on to pivot out. Have gone for the CT boost. And although the weaponry is not ideal, Roman nearly sticks the landing with the deagle. sdodo goes for the wide swing. FaceCrack can't believe it. Slumps into the back of his chair, knowing that each and every kill now puts them one step further away from the finals. Flip gets in for one, but there is the boosted up Jerry. And it gets sprayed out from Just. They go back in for another boost. They want to try and take down the bomb carrier. And it won't be the carrier any longer, as Flit did get the bomb plant just beforehand, and now XE Power is stuck at the back boxes. The second he rattles off this shot, there's going to be multiple CTs pushing him down. There's one, but it will end at one. The kill streak comes to an abrupt end. The win streak comes to an abrupt end. sAw will have an 11-3 lead.
Teamwork is the dream work, Vince. Man, the way that sAw just played this B defense was chef's kiss beautiful. Even that last kill, XE Power just had a flying CT in his screen. Every duel that sAw are taking, it's just, they're bringing in and involving as many teammates as they can to have the strongest look into the round. And it's just, it's providing for them. It's paying off hugely. Once again, a strong B defense retake there. We've got a auto shotty coming out in the last round, Vince. It's on the back of Roman. It makes sense. He's the apartment player. sdodo, another opening for him. Just standing in the Molotov. And that's a confident shot coming out from the sniper of Bet. Or sAw. I keep calling sAw Bet.
Yeah, can throw you off a little bit. I mean, forZe have been thrown out so many times at this stage. It's just getting brutal. We could have the identical scoreline to how Nuke finished up.
Oh.
It could be another 12-3 half. It's looking like it will be. There's the aforementioned XM, but the timing working against Roman at this range, not quite as good. Taking 3 shots as opposed to 1. Jerry almost knifing the wall out of frustration because now he knows that him and XE Power have a 2v5 under wraps. And my God, do they need this desperately. The peak timing could not have been sweeter, and sAw are steering themselves to a 12-3 half. That's how it will end on Inferno. They're one half away from securing their spot in the grand finals.
sound, my dear. It covers the skies and dreams. Here comes the ruler of my Merry Christmas fantasy. Fill my heart with joy, my dear. If you only knew the tricks when there's a bridge to cross, jump in my Christmas fantasy. I now linger instead. It's lovely to be here waiting for you. Now at midnight, you know.
We are back. The same scoreline that saw the sAw team. I keep getting caught out by that. sAw, seesaw. It's a bit of a
Saw
mess.
and Just has been pretty tough today. Saw and Just.
It is the same halftime scoreline though, Potter. And last time sAw did convert. They are only 4 rounds away from the grand finals. Jerry will be dealing with the initial charge up banana, but with the bomb being dropped back at T-spawn, they don't have to fully invest or commit behind this. And so far, it seems like they're dipping their toe in the water, but Flit nearly loses his head.
That's a lot of damage. Jerry eating 2 grenades. Flit getting popped in the dome there by Glock. Arky pushing forward. Oh, that would have been a huge pickup. Now there's 3 members of forZe that are just barely surviving. And look at Roman's position even. sAw have a lot of map control right now. They've taken all of top banana. This is going to give them a lot of opportunities and options. Exit Power is pushing forward. The timing is everything. He's good for the 1. Oh, and of course, he peeks over and gets the 2. That's going to give forZe a lot more breathing room coming into this round, but sAw, they still have that smoke.
FaceCrack is taking tons of damage through the periphery of the box. It's the Dodo and Roman both tag team their way in for frags, and now it could be a post plant. Well placed smoke keeps Exi power, and the rest of the CT's guessing. They have no idea the positions that sAw are now maintaining. Pit, Sight, and Mini Pit all have been picked up. A third of the timer already ticking away. forZe do have a kit, but it's in the hands of the weakened Almeza. They'll be taking 2 players down instantly. How the hell did that happen? Arky's still alive, but not for much longer. That is unreal from Almeza.
Wow, an unlikely round win. Somehow, some way. I think Exit Power even got 3 kills in that round as well. I didn't understand why FaceCrack started rotating so quickly off the A site, but somehow, some way, forZe are able to convert this round. It was all looking fantastic for sAw. Beautiful USP shots. Almazer and Exit Power, just the duo in tandem, securing that pistol round. That's a good start, a nice recovery. But a forced buy from sAw. Poor Galils.
Oh! Destroyed. Big headshot from Muterus. He was so integral on Nuke, and he's continuing that here, but he can't get a second. Flit's position known. Roman wants to go in for the wide swing. Gets the job done, but loses HP for it. The Dodo also weakened. 4 HP left to his name. FaceCrack and Mini Pit will have 3 players to contend with. Roman up on the boxes. Could be going for a different angle. 1-for-1 trade, but Almeza, who's been snaking his way around the back, will be shutting the bomb down in transition. And now Roman with 55 seconds in a clutchable round, but he has to make noise If he drops down from the box, FaceCrack should know his position, but patience of virtue. And Roman comes out ahead in that engagement. And now it's down to Almeza.
Just isolated 1v1s. Roman, he knows where Almazer was the last time through the comms, but he could have moved. And with 30 seconds, he's got to clear a lot of angles here. He does get the fight. He does do damage, but Almazer's able to take him out. And that's a second round secured here for forZe. Just one player remaining alive, but remember, that was a forced buy from sAw, so that first wave of attack in the second half has been held off. A save should be coming through here for sAw.
I was curious if we'd see them go for a force, knowing that forZe's economy would be a little bit in rough shape, but maybe pistols are all they need. The Dodo goes out for a one-on-one. Deagle's now in play. 3 of them, in fact, with the P250 alongside it. Exi Power, important timing on the peak as he mows down Muterus. And now sAw on the back foot. But now these smokes will start to fade. This is where the Deagles really do come to the forefront. forZe cannot take this round for granted.
Nice shots from Jerry. We've been seeing a lot of A1s on this forZe side. I think 4 of their players right now are using it. Very rare to have 4 riflers on the A1. Roman's gun is sticking out. Exipar is able to clean that up. A clean round here for forZe. But this should be the real test here.
Yeah, this is almost a carbon copy of how Nuke went. A 12-3 half. forZe then picked up the second pistol. They started to steamroll. It got to 12-7. And then 12-7 against the half buy, they lost.
Oh,
so let's see if it goes again. That's a failed run boost. They do get flashed out. At least XP doesn't take any damage as a result of it and throws in a grenade. But it chipped, though, to the 2 players at the top of Banana, both Jerry and Almeza, getting dwindled down. About 50 HP between the 2 of them.
sAw have been doing a fantastic job just chipping away forZe's HP early on in the rounds. Good utility placement. It's allowed them to have this top B control early on. And Roman is lurking around these pillars. Again, sAw are in a position where they have all the map control they want. A lot of options as to how they want to approach it. Some Molotovs are going down towards that pillar. And Roman's going pretty forward. And he's rewarded for it. A nice pick off. FaceCrack needs to win this versus Arky. He goes down. Almazer's all by his lonesome, and he goes down as well. That's the A site gone. sAw just kind of brute forced their way in. They knew they had top B control. They knew they had pillar control. From that point, man, Roman just kind of inched his way forward.
So this time, the broken down CT side comes around early. Dodo neutralizing Jerry doesn't allow him the safe passage of a save. That could have big ramifications in this next buy as well. Had they have kept 2, Flit and Jerry would have been able to buy no problems. They could have even dropped 1. As it stands, though, there will be at least 1 player that's feeling pretty rough. That's if Exi Power can hold on to the AWP. Another kill goes his way, but he gets denied. No saved weapons.
That's definitely huge. Jerry has enough to buy 1. No armor, as does Flit, but once again, forZe are in this weird position where their money is all over the place. They will decide to come through with a forced buy. Oh, indecisive. Very slow. Exapower still in spawn purchasing right now. Flit, the homie, dropped the AWP over to Exapower. So a lot of investment into this player in this round. He's burning alive right now. Has to readjust, and I'm not sure that sAw's gonna expect an AWP purchase. The Dodo takes some damage. The jig is up now. sAw are aware.
see the difference it makes as well. You highlighted it. Because of that very late buy, XP Power was peaking so late on Banana, it nearly cost him his life, and now sAw will be mixing up the pace. They're getting aggressive, out of apps, out of quads. Flash is being tossed on both sides. Molotovs alongside it. Arky getting an entry there is so integral. But they need to push behind it now. XP Power's had enough time to rotate back around towards Library before sTododo makes short work of Jerry. The two of them still alive, but not for much longer. And sTododo on 13 has 40 seconds to make this comeback a reality. He's got the first. He has no idea that he's getting flanked from apps, though. And this position for Almeza is so vitally important. The second that sTododo peaks too wide, he should be going down to the CZ. He seems to have an idea of it, but it could just come down to timing. He doesn't have the bomb just yet, and that's what Almeza is playing for. He doesn't want a wide swing. He doesn't want to put himself in a bad spot. Now he's spotted sTododo, but he's given him a chance to actually fake the bomb. Still nails him down. So at least forZe don't go down without a fight. They keep themselves in this just about.
Close stuff, Vince. Really close stuff. I think sAw felt the pressure. They felt like they needed to hit this A while the AWP was still over towards that B. But it was a bit wonky. Not as coordinated as we've seen sAw in their defaults and set pieces, so they get punished for it. forZe another chance to put up some sort of a defense, and Jerry, he's just pushing down. sTododo half blind, he gets taken out. It is equalizers, though. 4v4.
And whereas normally, if you get a 1-for-1 trade, you normally favor the T's. I think in this kind of situation where they have a lack of utility and a low just, I'm not too sure I would necessarily go alongside that. I think that may have been a beneficial trade for forZe. They do have 2 AWPs. That's maybe where they could be susceptible to being rushed down. Flashbang up and over, lands in the eyes of Jerry, forces him away. He now calls for a rotation, or at least they were thinking of it first before the molly was put down. Jerry needs to survive. If he goes down without any frags, that could be the round, that could be the map coming to a close. He knows the importance of keeping himself and his team in this. 45 seconds. sAw still not fully investing behind this, and they have Roman that's got to pick elsewhere. He just shows out of Boiler, gets the frag, pulls back, and allows the rest of his team to now make moves up middle.
Power is about to have a lot of traffic coming his way. There's no utility on sAw, but it's okay. They're just walking towards that palace. This is going to be a waterfall pop. And the rotation is coming, but it's another AWP and Jerry. 2 ops are going to be defending, and they're good for it. 2 players goes down, but Jerry re-peaks. This is going to be a 2 versus 2 post-plant scenario. And Power is very aggressive right now.
That aggression does facilitate his positioning up in apps. He can now wrap around the side towards balcony, peer out into pit, close off the angle. Unbeknownst to forZe, both of sAw are still on the site, clumped together, and Just is now showing his hand, and Power's missed the shot. They now know where he is, and Muterus from below will pounce. sAw bounce straight back, and forZe's economy is absolutely devastating. I don't even think they can get a rifle unless Facecrack drops down to a FAMAS. They have so little to play with.
Man, Roman, MVP of this round. I don't know how he won that duel in Boiler, but he's able to get the kill, and it just made Power super nervous being the lone defender at A. They're able to just walk it out. No utility left. And just pop out that palace, man. Jerry and Power, they hit some nice shots, but that was it.
Oh dear. That kind of encapsulates this performance for me, Potter. They've had chances, but they've whiffed them.
It be like that sometimes, Vince. Power goes down early. And, Roman loses out that duel to a FAMAS. This is going to slow things down a bit. sAw are still in prime position right now. They've got 3 smokes on their backs, healthy as ever. They've left the bomb in T-spawn. This is just going to be like a double pump type scenario. only 40 seconds. Time's dwindling. Only Arky has the utility remaining.
Face crack. Now being joined by Flit, who is weakened with just a deagle. 24 seconds. They're looking to wrap via arches, but simultaneously poke outside of the balcony. And Flit and Face crack between the two of them cannot muster up the strength to get a single kill on the approach. Not that there was really a good chance for them to do so. That will, however, mean that with forZe likely saving, don't have too many options available. 8 match points, 8 grand final points for sAw.
Wow. This series is going a lot faster than I anticipated, Vince. A lot faster. forZe, they're going to have to dig deep. They've got one more chance, one more round in this next one. sAw, he's having a good time. He's sharing stories with the chicken, talking about how that one time they owned forZe. And then they just killed the chicken. Wait, sAw, he's a traitor.
Keep knifing him. What an absolute scumbag. What did that chicken do to you, Arky?
The crowd is loving it, Vince.
Oh, there's going to be a lot of very happy Portuguese and Spanish fans in chat right now, I'm sure. Jubilant at how incredible their team has played. I don't think many people, even the staunchest of fan out there watching sAw, expect them to be this damn good. They have been sublime. Good shot from Almeza. At least gives them a chance, a window back into the round, but they've already lost so much footing. Elsewhere, Mutarist, just confidence oozing through him, coursing through his veins, and just the same, but he will go down, and not too much damage done on the approach. So, 3-on-3, and an AK trades hands, and the bomb is back at T-spawn again.
Is Jerry going to push his own smoke? Oh, he was thinking about it. He gives the AK over to Almazer. That's 2 AKs picked up. And sAw have made every right decision in these scenarios. When it comes down to the wire and it's a 3 versus 3, 4 versus 4, they slow things down really well and hit the right bomb site. But forZe, 2 players are just pushing down this banana. Arky's ready for it. Oh, he's not.
Impressive work by Almeza. Roman, though, still alive. 35 seconds. Dangerous game of cat and mouse. And a face crack has been caught. Flashbang over. They still need to go all the way back towards spawn, does Roman. If he wants to retrieve the bomb, there'll be a lot of obstacles and potential pitfalls in his wake. 15 seconds. He has spotted Jerry, but he was mid-air when that peek came through. So forZe do survive one time at least, but they have 7 more rounds to pick up back-to-back.
It all started off with just this one dig. Again, not too many things they can take away from this round to formulate a better game plan for themselves and have some sort of a sustainable plan looking forward, but round by round, they dig deep. There could be a shot here. sAw have used every penny they have left into this round. sAw had the lowest ADR. I just missed it. Dang it.
He had the lowest ADR on his team coming through in the second half, but he still had more damage than anybody else on forZe. So it just goes to show that sAw were absolutely dominant in that first half. Well, here we have it, Potter. You said spot on that sAw have put all of their pennies, all their cents into this round. Maybe the gateway back in starts here. forZe can break down the economy of the T's, build up their own in the process. They do have the better buy, considering that Arky's just down to a deagle. But how many times over the duration of this best of 3 have we seen sAw just effectively maneuver forZe into these awkward spots and then just make the most of it? And the timing could be so brutal. It was sending over Jerry. I think at one point he was maybe anticipating that he'd need to rotate over to A, and then the smoke started to land, so he stuck around a bit longer. And where I saw have dropped the bomb in T-spawn a few times in a row, this time they have it on their back, and that suggests to me that we're about to have some fireworks. This could be an explosive one. Good counter utility's been tossed into position from forZe, but they don't have a ton of it left. And with 50 seconds, it may have been good enough. sAw, who were primarily opting for a B hit, and now just fading away towards middle.
Yeah, Jerry holding on to that Molotov was huge. Definitely could have been real dicey for sAw. They pivot, and they're going to test their luck towards this pillar, but two members of forZe are rotating. sAw's doing enough, throwing a lurk smoke down. This misdirection, the forZe defense, oh, Flit finds the one. It's all down to FaceCrack. He's all alone here. He's got to buy time for his teammates to rotate.
12 seconds. Just one kill could be good enough if you can pick it off from pit. 8 seconds to go. They need to take the bomb in, and there's XE power from the back. forZe have held on for dear life and maybe saw their own worst enemy. They took too long.
Wow, that round was all over the place. I'm not sure what made sAw delay so long getting into the site there, but we saw it. FaceCrack was all alone there for quite some time. And man, forZe just survived. With 7 seconds left, sAw they're broke. Down to just the pistols now. And Jerry's been having a lot of success being real aggressive with this MP9. Power, this should be a farm fest for him. Get some feel-good rounds, and there it is. Nice and clean from forZe. They've hit the double-digit mark now. We talked about how many match points it's going to take forZe to grind and claw their way back into this one, but now they're just 5 away. They've got another strong purchase. All the utility they would want.
Yeah, that's 3 down, 5 to go. They have AKs, they have an AWP, but they don't have XE power, who gets smacked straight away from sAw. That was so slick.
Good night, Power. Good reactions coming after the sAw. The flash definitely helped. We've seen Roman having so much success in these pillars right now. sAw, they're speeding it up a little bit. They've already got that pillar control. It doesn't look like they're gonna commit to it. That's some good damage onto Roman. It's real testy. There it is. The bomb, it is falling back. They've shown just enough, and this lurk from Uterus. This is perfect. sAw have everything they would want into this round. Almazer, though, he does have a response, and he's got a lot of utility.
What a shot from Almazer, but that actually lulls Jerry out into the open. Muteris, who had a perfect flank in play, is now put it in. Now, Almazer, he may get the first pick, but this is where you expect the rest of the T's to swarm him. In actual fact, he doesn't get any picks, and he really had to. If forZe wanted a chance to get back onto the site, it now falls into a 2-on-4. Roman will be taking first point, but they've actually preemptively just tapped through the wall. They take him down. That swells the pressure again. Arky with the secondary AWP had a lot of misses yesterday with this weapon. Will it end up causing their demise here? As FaceCrack is trying a different angle of approach, up he comes. He does get tagged and he should get finished off, but no, Flit holds on. Both players are exceptionally low. forZe about to steal another round away. It's not looking good. It won't happen. sAw get it done in 2. Much to the surprise of many. It was easier than we anticipated, Potter, but what a performance.
Wow, sAw doing everything right in that last round. We talked about how much map control they had on that mini-map, man. Muter is somehow finding his way into CT spawn of all places to just kind of put the nail in the head there, put that checkmate on the board, and sAw, even on Nuke and on this Inferno, they outplayed forZe. It's just straight up across the board. Strategy-wise, they outplayed these guys, and that is a good look coming from sAw.
I mean, the stats don't lie. 16-7, 16-10. It was every bit as one-sided as the scoreline suggests. I might have to go buy myself a Portuguese flag for tomorrow because they may even take the whole thing, Potter. We'll have the desk break it down, though, before we get into our second semi-finals after this break.
never in doubt. The Portuguese side come in and 2-0 this series like it was absolutely nothing from start to finish, dominant, and as if this face wasn't smug enough. I've now made a little bit of a comeback on the predictions as well. Blair, how are you feeling after that one?
I'm feeling very, very happy for the Portuguese community, for the Portuguese Spanish team, because there is a Spaniard in the team as well. I won't lie. Nuke was their map pick. We saw how confused forZe look on the CT side. I'm like, yeah, fair enough. They won the map pick. They've done their homework. Good job. Inferno was just a masterclass. They played it so very well. Roman in the pit area apartments, he was almost unplayable, and it felt like forZe we're just playing a brand of reactive Counter-Strike. Now, I agree, forZe have been struggling right now, but they still do have the individuals and all of that working for them. But when they look so completely lost in the map, which they picked, which they are pretty decent on, you have to give credit to sAw. Like, the individuals stepped up. Yesterday, we did cast a few aspersions. Some of the players on the team were like, maybe they don't have a skill set as, let's say, a Z-Power or maybe a Flit. Got to take it back. sAw, they came, they just completely wrecked them, outplayed them. And right now, it's been a fairy tale run. I'm super happy for them.
Well, that's the thing we sort of spoke about, Maui. Like, we were considering the negatives of forZe, but at the same time, you now want to take a look more at the positives of sAw and how they managed to actually break their opponents apart.
Yeah, so I actually have a stats helix here we can jump into, and I think this was just a really good round from the side of sAw. So before jumping into it, this was a 4v4 situation, and it really looked like, honestly, forZe kind of had an advantage, which is kind of defies common Counter-Strike logic, but I think the way that sAw used their numbers here really played well to their advantage because they didn't rush anything. So Roman, he gets this pick towards the port side, and then slowly sAw begin to move up, and they pretty much just all walk through the apartments. XP does catch the straggler and Arky towards mid, but at that point, sAw recognizes that they need to just go for a halls pop, and they break this situation down so well. They get the bomb down, and they're able to play off each other in such a nice way in order to close this one out. And this was looking like a potential forZe comeback on the CT side of things, but at this point, I just want to look at the replay here as these kills unfold. Very great round from Just, but I have to give a lot of credit to Muterus because I think this was excellently called. Good initiative taken by Roman as well to find this kill towards the porch side, but all in all, very well played game by sAw. I feel like they outlined their procedures very well, had good reactions to anything that forZe threw at them, and they were just in complete control of the situation for the entire series.
Well, I believe we are actually going to have Roman on the line as well, so we'll get to speak to sAw themselves. I'm sure you're over the moon getting yourself through to a grand final of DreamHack Open, but just before I ask you anything, I want to run through a few things for the viewers at home. So you can correct me if I'm wrong on any of these. You started this team at the very beginning of this year. You then went through ESEA Open, won that. Then ESEA Advanced. You almost managed to make it straight through MDL, coming in 3rd place. Very, very close. And now, right at the end of the year, you have made it to a DreamHack Open Grand Final. Be honest with me. When you started this team in January, did you believe this was possible?
I mean, that was our goal, to win everything we played. So we knew it was possible, but it would be really hard. So we started the season with SAA Open. It was, I know it says SAA Open, but it had really good teams, and it was just as hard as Advanced. So we won Open and Advanced. And then on the MDL playoffs, we didn't play good enough, so we came 3rd. But so we stopped playing officials during the times since we played MDL till now. We stopped playing officials. We kept training, and we're doing good now.
Okay. I was just looking at the rankings as well. You were ranked 103rd in the beginning of February, and right now you are on HLTV. You're like almost about to crack the top 30, right? So it's been a fantastic year for you guys, a great rise, as Tom said. Now, potentially the final biggest event for the year. You've reached finals. Fantastic work, the way you've been able to take down some of these teams. But you're going to be either facing Gambit, who have looked really good so far, or VP, who just came off the Flashpoint win. Now, if I were to ask you which team you want to face, who would you pick?
That's a hard question. We played both teams on official matches, and we got destroyed both times. So I don't really know. I don't really care. We are there to win, and we're doing our best.
All right.
Yeah, Roman, I have a question. I see you guys do play quite a few matches, but it feels like from your guys' game plans, you are pretty well outlined. Like, it rarely feels like you guys are just playing loose Counter-Strike. You guys always seem to have a plan in every round, and you always have an idea of how you want to win that round. So how do you maintain just this level of form and structure on the team despite playing so many officials?
The thing is, we always set our goal to the round in the first time. So it's right. We're playing really loose, but we always follow the plan. So we sometimes have some solo plays, but we usually keep to the plan, and that's it.
Okay, one final question I have, Roman, is one thing we've all been very impressed is your utility work. Flashbangs, Molotovs, grenades, like you have the best utility damage right now in the tournament along with flash assists, all of that. Do you make a special point to really work on some of these nade setups and everything?
To be honest, not really, but we always try to help our teammates with nades, so we don't really think about it, about the damage and about being the best team with utility. We just try to help everyone, and I think we're doing good doing that.
Okay, you're doing good indeed.
So to finish off, we've seen you recently sort of have a lot of support coming from the guys in Portugal. Of course, seeing a Portuguese team like slowly move up the rankings, I think has been a big deal to a lot of the fans at home, the fans watching right now. What would it mean to you to sort of finish off this year and bring them a trophy?
Hey, it will be awesome. They are helping us since we started the team. To be fair, when we started the team, we would get invites for tournaments just because we had a lot of fans. So they help us a lot, being fans and get us invites to the tournament. So we gotta thank them somehow, and a win in this tournament will be awesome.
Well, you've surprised us, you've impressed us, that's for sure, and a huge congratulations once again for making it to the grand final.
Thank you.
I have to say, like, going into the beginning of this tournament, but I think that looking at sAw, they were one of the teams that we were like, okay, they could definitely get out of the groups. That was something we were looking at, but getting into the grand final, I don't think that was on the cards for many of us.
True, and mainly because we all expected Gambit and VP to win their group games, so sAw would have been coming up against a Gambit or a VP early on in the semifinals, right? So, but taking nothing away from them, they took advantage of the fact that they had comparatively an easier opponent. I say easier; it is a forZe who did beat VP, but today sAw were clearly the better team, and even Z-Power showed up in Inferno. He was hitting his shots. He'd been so quiet, but it didn't really matter in the end. sAw were the better team; they were the better individuals, and they played a fantastic game of Counter-Strike. I hope them the best, not just in the tournament, but in the future. They're looking like a very interesting team overall.
Well, Vince is off to go and buy himself a Portuguese flag, so they've definitely converted a few people along the way. Maui, let's take a look at the brackets, sort of talk us through how we got to where we are right now.
Yeah, sure. So, of course, sAw just secured their spot in the grand finals there, beating out forZe 2-0. And then the semifinal, the other one, will be coming up in a bit with Gambit and VP, and I think that should be just a great match. I think that's something we were looking forward to for a potential BO5 Grand Finals. It's going to come a little bit prematurely, but it still should be a great series, and I know this is the matchup that everyone that looked at this open was probably looking forward to, and I know that this is the matchup that we all here on the desk are looking to forward the most.
Yeah, for sure. It's going to be an absolute banger of a match, but the fact is we are going to have a little bit of a longer break. So make sure you go get yourself a drink, get your popcorn, maybe get yourself some Christmas snacks, maybe even get one of these, and then come back and we will join you with a banger of a game. It's going to be Virtus.pro facing off against Gambit to make their way to face sAw in the grand final tomorrow. Join us then.